Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 4th anniversary of Hotel Podcast and also our first live recording. Kilelina, Deremo, one time. We are so excited to have an audience. For those who are watching online, we have an audience today, which is an exciting experience. My name is Cecilia Aton. Please don't butcher my name, it is Aton, okay? And I have a very beautiful panel with me today, and I'd like them to introduce themselves briefly, Charlene, so that we can start.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Charlene Chepto Nekesa. I am a serial entrepreneur. I love to yap, and I will be here to yap at you guys.
Yay.
Yes, how are you guys?
So fine.
My name is Casey O'Neill Nyamunga. I work in the pharmaceutical sector, and I'm happy to be here to commemorate the 4th year of quality.
Yay. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. As you can see, we have very brilliant minds today. My name is Cecilia again. I work with an anti-FGM organization. I'm an activist by profession, so I'm also a professional yapper. I am paid to be as loud as I could. So, today we have a very interesting podcast episode. And like our previous episodes over the year, we usually have a topic that we choose and we talk about it in depth, in full, talking about every single aspect, others playing devil's advocate. Sometimes it's just about encouragement. But today in particular, we have a very interesting topic. We will be having a recap of our year, not only as young people, but also as citizens of this country. Yes, I said citizens. I am one too. Sinagalevo. I can already see what you're thinking. Yes, so we're going to have a recap of our year as Kenyans. And initially we wanted to do a monthly breakdown, but we felt like it would be a bit tedious. So what we have done, we have put the episodes, the seasons that we've had as a country in categories. And we'll talk about those categories. And for our dear audience, after this episode is done, we will have a question and answer session so that you could also ask the panel questions. And that will be part of your interaction because we would love to hear from you as well. So let's start with our year. How has your year been, panelists?
Personally, I think this year has been one of the toughest years I've experienced personally. Mm-hmm. Working particularly in the pharmaceutical sector, I deal with a lot of psychiatric products, and I've obviously met with patients who have depression, schizophrenia, and every other mental disorder. So personally, when you look at the economic state of the country and you look at how these patients are suffering, these products are quite expensive. Mm-hmm. There are no policies to protect them. And with these new policies that have come into SHA and these other things, are not helping them in any way. Mm-hmm. Yes? So this can also be attributed, and we are talking today about the femicide also, because you see the economic state, I think it also contributes to the femicide cases, because you see a man, from a perspective of a man, I'm thinking, you take this girl out, pay for these things, and then sometimes these men are not emotionally
mature
in that to handle rejection or some deviation from the course of the relationship. So I think they resort to violence.
Yeah. Okay. Charlene, how has your year been?
Well, mine hasn't been depressing. Mine actually, I started out the year with a goal, with a vision. And funny enough, when the year started, I think mid-year or March, that's when Mandamano happened.
No, May.
Oh.
May, it happened in May, towards June.
So somewhere there, Mandamano happened. That was a bit of my year. But when I started the year, I started it at a high pace. I wanted to achieve goals. I wanted to get things done. I wanted to move from where I was in 2023. Now 2024 was my year. And lucky enough, Mimi, I've ticked everything on my vision board. I know. So, nimekuwa na very good year. Other than iserekali,
Yeah.
I think at the point, now after Mandamano, I was like, there's absolutely nothing I can do to change the entire country. So I was like, let me just block it out. Hey, but Juicy Joe. Eldoas. Bibi amati likuja hivi because
What's going on?
somebody must go.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere must go home, yeah. But otherwise, it's been a good year.
Okay. So I think we have each touched on the fact that our government has highly impacted our year. So let's start with the political atmosphere of this country. And of course, Charlene, you have touched on the fact that Mandamano season was your lowest. And I'm sure for some people are thinking Mandamano season is my release. For somebody like me, I got to scream on the streets for free. I was like, this is where it's at. So you can talk about the Mandamano season. What did you learn politically? Because a lot of political awareness happened, a lot of political literacy happened. So let's talk about that season. How was it impactful? What did you learn? And things of that nature.
Yeah, thank you. So during this political awakening, I was able to see that young people can read into policies, not on a surface level, but deep into it. And then the government was trying to make it seem like we don't understand when we think about TikTok dancing and just going out, nothing. We don't understand the nitty-gritties of this constitution, of these policies they are bringing forth. But young people came to understand even things that didn't directly affect them, they were angry about it. Like land, I saw some issues on the paths. Following up from that, there was even a lady who went ahead to try and sue always because of the quality of the paths. You see, so it was a social awakening on the political state of the country, and the young people took charge. The old people, this divisive politics they do, whereby they make sure, oh, you are rich, you're working, you're poor, others through tribe, regions, it couldn't work against us.
And Cassie, would you say prior to this year, did you have the same political awareness and political inclinations that you did?
Not as strongly as I do this year. I think back in the day I used to think as long as I'm good, as long as I'm doing what I want to do, what directly affects me is what I should care about. But during this year, I was able to care about political alignments that affect other people aside from myself.
And what changed? Like, what was the dawning moment?
I'd say the dawning moment for me was I recently took responsibility over some group of people, and together with the family, I was able to listen to other stories, and I realized these policies are affecting people. And I can't try and help everyone, but I can be aware of the political situation and do small changes in my life through understanding the constitution, trying to read into the politics different parties are playing, so that I can be able to deconstruct to someone close to me, so that they understand the next time we're trying to vote, must go.
Her. Yes, Charlene, you can also talk to us about the political awareness season. How has it impacted you, as well as were you politically, I don't want to say literate, but were you politically inclined prior to this season?
I think I was in the fanatic side of politics, where you're like, hey, minimum to Raila, minimum to sijui nani. It was all fun and games. And then Mandamano happened, and then people were killed on the streets. And then it stopped being fun and games. It stopped being wearing a t-shirt with a slogan. It stopped being screaming in the streets. And then it started being somebody's child died. somebody's brother went missing. And actually, my household, we were impacted. My brother's teammate was shot at point blank range at Timber. So when that happened, it hit us like a brick. Yeah. And it was like, where? You should be really bad. Yeah. So at that moment, tukaanza watch news. We need to keep up with like who's alive, who's not there, who's here. Yeah. So that's what happened. And yeah.
I think for my side of things, I was also not as politically inclined, which is so funny because my father is a politician. I think I mean either a fanatic or I was just a blondie. I just didn't care. I think this year is the first time I sat down and I read a finance bill. And I was like, these things zinatokea every year. Hey, nasikanjua. I read the entire finance bill and I was like, okay, I see the fuss, I see why people are upset. I think Shalini also touched that the Mandamano season brought a season of low, either mentally or could be draining. Do you think that it was draining? If it did drain you, or if it gave you strength for more? Can you, each of you touch on that?
For me, it was very draining because I was in a constant state of anxiety because you didn't know how much it would escalate.
Yeah.
Because it started out, like I said, fun. Yeah, calling your friends, mnatokea maandamano, mnatokea. As we do branding, mnawatengenezea matisho, mkuje, sijui nini. And then, sijui like that imechomwa, sijui nani ameshutiwa. I live somewhere really close to town, and when things really went out of control, I was literally in my house, nasikia tear gas zikitupwa. So I'm there in the house and I'm thinking, how far will this go?
Yeah.
We are only one step away from political instability. We are one step away from a war. So for me, it was that's why I say it was the worst time of the year because number one, somebody already died, and then now you're just there sitting, waiting to find out, like, are we going to war?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a coup? They were talking about the military coming in. Yeah, it was hell.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was a build-up because me being in the corporate world, we were affected initially with this housing levy and this other thing. So this maandamano gave me a chance to just
To let it
feel
out.
it.
Yeah.
I remember I was with my friend at the office. Then we said we saw some people walking down this street. Then we said, tuishie. We were taking ourselves where tear gas iko. Paniko mingi ndo tunakimbia.
Yeah. Wow.
Tunaenda hapo. Because for us it was a new experience. Personally, I never experienced tear gas.
Yeah.
So hiyo feeling ya kukimbia, mimi sikuwa najua naweza kimbia kutoka Tao mpaka
Timber.
Timber. Na napanda gari.
Yeah.
So it looked like a short distance because of the
Adrenaline.
training that had happened through these policies.
Yeah.
And then it took me to reading. I used to wake up every day, try and read this finance bill. I started tuning in every morning to Spice FM. They talk, it's called the Situation Room.
Yes.
So they speak about these issues. They point out some legislature that is bogus. Yeah. So it was draining, and Mandamano gave me a chance to feel it.
Yeah. Those are good. A mix of emotions. You've talked about something that I want us to go into so that we don't drag the conversation through the pits of Mandamano. You brought up something about, because you're in the corporate world, you are directly affected to matters concerning housing levy and all of that. And that brings us into the conversation about the economic state of the country and the cost of living and how it has touched everyone. I'm also in the corporate world, but not as corporate as Big Pharma, as a pharmaceutical, but we are also affected. So let's talk about that. The economic state of the country, not only it being oppressive, but also incredibly unfair. Yes.
I'd like to point out some points that are currently happening. I think Must Go was trying to do a version of affirmative action.
I like how you're referring to him that way.
For legal purposes.
Yes.
So, Maslow was trying to do a version of affirmative action whereby you try and look out for the marginalized groups in the community by bringing up this housing program, whereby he was looked at every town, every city has a slum. So I think in his head, he thought, let me build these houses, then sell to these people who live beyond, like below the poverty line at a very alarming and depressive state, you see. So, according to his view, that inflation currently is like 2.7%. He's very proud walking around saying it is at 2.7%. And the organizations that have employed the biggest number of people, like G4S recently said they are going to retrench 400 people. I think tiles and carpets, about 850 people are going to be retrenched. There is an Australian mining company called Base Titanium. About 1,200 people are going to be removed. Procter and Gamble, I think is the company for Always and Pampers, are also going to retrench about 800 people. Look at that. These are people who initially were paying these taxes. The inflation that he's saying is good now, 2.7, is because the middle class itself cannot purchase. They're not having this purchasing power. Money is not flowing. Banks are not liquid. If you have cash, you're better than a bank, I can tell you for now. Okay? If you have cash, if you have cash, you're better than a bank.
They're not better.
They're trying to reach out to people, giving them some interest. You can tell it's in a state of economic crisis.
Yeah.
We are about to go there. Things, you know, this country is funny. Their policies, they were not good at first, but because they have been started, just finish them.
Yeah.
Don't start others.
Yeah.
Yeah? So you see something like SGR, we have defaulted in paying. Now we've been fined about 1.6 billion. Where did that money come from? From our pockets. You see, podcasts are very nice. It's a nice thing to do because young people are trying to get out of their bubble, trying to make a living, trying to speak out. It's an environment where you are allowed to be yourself. No, like for us, we see we have some corporate restrictions.
Boundaries.
But for you here, you can decide you open a podcast today simply for just dancing. You put a camera, you say which style you want to dance. Anguka nayo. Kuna ingine unasikia ni mapanga de.
Unasikia?
I'm still learning mapanga in case I need to be safe in the club.
Yeah.
So, the economic state of the country is sad, and as young people, we have a chance to change it.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the question?
We're talking about the economic crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Not only it being unfair and unjust, but also oppressive.
So guys, if you don't know, let me tell you, me, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
So let's deep dive. What Must Go is trying to do here is to kill the middle class. And that's why you see the people who are on the streets, hiyo time ya maandamano, walikuwa mabadis, manani, who are those people? Ni sisi, middle class.
Oh, sisi ni mabadi.
Hey, Audrey, you don't know yourself. Sasa, once you kill the middle class, you're taking us back to the medieval times, where we had the royals and the peasants. Once you have that, what happens is the level of control that comes in. Like, you know what happened when we had royals?
Yeah.
Walikuwa wanasema, so you guys, God said, me and my lineage, our blood is clean. So we are going to rule you for the next 1,000 years. And because sababu peasants did not have food, anything, all they could say is, Ni sawa, as long as mtu mwage chakula at the end of the day, we are easy. So that's what these guys are trying to do. When he was saying it is hustlers versus dynasty, it is because he wants to build his own dynasty. He is killing the economy by removing cash because we know cash is king. If you don't have cash, there's nothing you can do. The minute there is no fluidity or liquid cash in the system, the government is controlling everything. So wakiamka kesho na waseme hakuna pesa, how will you know? How will you know if there is money or there is no money? So that's what these people are trying to do. And it's not happening in Kenya only. That's why you saw in the US, there was that shift. People went back to Trump because it started with Democrats in the US. And once the US does something, because they're the superpowers, it trickles down to sisi, my idiots chini.
Peasants.
Yes, the peasants. Huku Africa kwanza. Kwa sababu, now, the good thing is, West Africa, in where? Mali, Guinea-Bissau, these West African countries, wamefanya military takeover.
Yeah.
They are Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial
Yes. And keep your mind out of the gutter.
We cannot, when you mention their name, that's all we think.
So these people, they have taken military rule. Now they have nationalized their minerals. Minerals zetu kama mafuta enye iko Turkana, you guys. Tuliambiliwa mafuta mwaka gani? Umeisikia kama inamainiwa? Me right now I work in Kerio Valley. Those are, I think when you were doing social studies or whatever, you learnt about Kariandusi, Flospa. Yeah. Flospa is down there. It has been reopened by a German company, not Kenyan. Why are we not managing our own minerals? These people do not want us to have money. These people do not want you to enjoy dinners like this. Once we become poor, we will not even have the time to shoot podcasts.
Yeah.
Tutakuwa busy trying to work for the upper class.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these things keep me up at night. I can't sleep.
We can tell. We can tell. Before we move past this category of the economy, Cassie, you mentioned something in the beginning about...
Sorry, let me say something else. As an entrepreneur also, if you do your own business, it is very, very important because how will you manage your business without cash? How will you manage your business without money? Something else, they increased the licenses, nini, izo mapesa za nini. So that's called, like if you did business, it's called bottleneck legislations, so that people are not able to open their own businesses and have independence.
Yeah. So Cassie had mentioned something at the beginning of this episode about because of the rise of the economic crisis, there has also increased a surge in insecurity, and not only is it alarming, it has brought up the situation about the femicide, and it's not excluding any other forms of violence, but that's the one that we are seeing most in staggering numbers. So let's talk about the femicide. It has brought a divide in our country. In the beginning, in January, there was the divide about, but men died too. You know, men also died. How come the media and the people do not champion when men die, but when women die, it's worldwide news, or everybody should stop what they're doing and hit the streets. So there was that part about men feeling like, well, people die every day. But then there's also the part that women are trying to bring forth that femicide is a unique kind of violence because it is gender homicidal. It's driven by a gender bias. So let's talk briefly about the femicide before we move to other categories.
Okay, first I want to say femicide is a very bad thing that is happening in this country. And personally, I feel like it has it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
In the sense that femicide can be even rooted into under the traditional values in Africa, whereby women are expected to be docile, are expected to follow instructions, and most probably, when something bad is happening to a woman, it's because she has deviated from these norms that have been set. So, when women are killed, it's an issue, and also when men are killed, it's an issue. We agree on that.
Yes.
But currently in the country, you might even hear tomorrow there's a lady being killed, and it's young ladies, campus students, yeah, and they are being killed in inhumane ways, and there are no. You can find my fellow men tagging it to. They call it prostitution, immoral tendencies of women, which cut across both genders. So when femicide happens in this country, it should be dealt with as separate as when men are also killed. There is no need to bring up men are being killed also, when we can tell in a family structure, women teach and nurture the children, the men protect and provide for the family. So this comes under protect and provide. We are offering women protection against this femicide and providing them with the tools to fight against femicide in non-violent ways, whereby we have to allow men to learn to take rejection, learn to walk away. You can fight your other men. Don't need to
Pick on somebody outside.
pick on someone you say, kama ni mkubwa kushinda, beba tamawe.
So let me play devil's advocate for the sake of conversation.
Okay.
So weka dem unatembea nje usiku mbona?
Okay.
Hauna weapon.
Okay.
You can't fight.
Yeah.
What are you doing outside? In stilettos. You can't run.
First of all, leave my stilettos out of this conversation.
No. I want to know, in a short skirt.
Yes.
Umeshika club. Umelewa.
Like Cassie has said, it's very multifaceted. I work in an organization that is anti-FGM. And most FGM victims are usually under the age of 6. And they also die. They are counted under the femicide. So were they outside in short skirts and stilettos when you cut off their genitalia? It is under femicide.
It's under femicide, yes.
So I'm talking
but
about,
it's also under FGM.
Yes,
So
which is still femicide.
Which is still femicide,
yes.
but under FGM.
Okay.
So under femicide and warranted murders.
Yes.
That happen aimlessly in the streets. Let's say a good example is there's one time I was robbed outside my gate. Sawa, at around 9ish. It was raining. So while I was telling my brother about this incident, I felt like, they were like, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I screamed, it was raining by the way. I was screaming, no one heard. I tried to pull back my bag, yeah. So, number one thing we need to understand is bad people are there. Your instinct as a human being is self-preservation. So when you put yourself in situations whereby you're putting yourself in danger, what are you doing? Like, let me give a case in point. The young lady who was mutilated by somebody at the young lady at Airbnbs. Number one, you hear this person was going to meet somebody at an Airbnb, not their house, which also going to somebody's house, a stranger's house. Like when you scare stories that are Riding Hood, Jamie. You did hear that story, like those are cautionary tales. You go to somebody's house, you don't know this person. You go to an Airbnb with a stranger you guys met on the internet. in this age of femicide, why are you doing that? And then, no. And then you want to be like, protect the women. You are not protecting yourself to begin with.
Okay.
Eh.
So you're saying if I go to an Airbnb with somebody I met and we had a conversation, I deserve to die?
No, you do not deserve to die. You do not deserve to die. But this person is already maybe a serial killer, an organ harvester, or whatever. Exactly. How do you know? So where are you going?
Are we not allowed to pursue love?
Are you pursuing love on day one though?
People in the audience are rather now.
People get accidents on the road every day. Should we stop driving?
Should we stop driving?
Or should I
Shane, you're telling us that we are being killed by people that we don't know. The cases of femicide that have been recorded in Kenya right now
Are people who are murdered by their
are being
partners?
murdered by their partners.
That's
the
the higher
person
number.
you love, the man you want to protect you, the man you feel to be the father of your kids. So you telling us that we are being killed by strangers is a total lie. Then telling us that we're putting ourselves into position that we're supposed to die. We are totally human beings like men. We deserve to walk. My
Okay.
dress, my choice. You do not
Okay,
have the
okay.
right to kill me because
Shall
I'm working in senators. Natoka Ponte unaniua mbona?
Charlene was playing devil's advocate. Please,
Guys, listen here. Yes, we need to do a breathing exercise.
Everybody breathe.
I was pushing the conversation.
the devil's advocate? Just go with what you believe in. Because
Yeah.
No,
Okay. Okay. Charlene,
clearly this is a sensitive.
this is a very sensitive topic.
So, guys, wait first before we go on. I do not support femicide, but we were recording the Nini, and before we started, I said we cannot all agree that femicide is bad. Wait first. Let me give you our thinking. Yes, listen.
You are thinking, not now.
No, our production's thinking.
Okay.
Audience.
Audience, calm down. Yes, for the sake of order. Okay, this is
We have a Q&A session.
this is supposed to be like a debate yenye tulipanga nayo ya education is good, education is bad. Sawa, we're supposed to bring points to the table. So I was trying to bring other viewpoints so that the conversation can go on.
Yes.
Because if we all come here and say bad is bad, good is good, then we are having a ship mentality. We cannot.
No,
Yeah. Okay, audience, let's
Guys, we have a question and answer
We
session.
have a question and answer session. I know this is very triggering. Let's write down our questions. But because we have other categories that we're trying to get to,
Yes.
we will get to that and we will answer all your questions. I promise, ladies in the audience, the 3 ladies who are riled up, we will answer your questions. Cassie, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yes,
it's okay.
yes,
I wanted
yes.
to add on to the point is that social media also plays a huge role in femicide in the sense that there's a lot of pressure in relationships that men have to reach. A lady is with you and then on a Instagram, she expects you to do it and treats you or moves on from you because of a man being unable to do these things.
Yeah.
And it leaves men bitter in the sense that they might feel that I'm trying so hard to please this woman. There are things I have done for her that I wouldn't have done for anyone else, that may push them. Not saying it's validation, but we have to agree that social media also plays a huge role in femicide. So maybe we should start sensitizing the youth and the people in general that not everything you see, they already know everything you see on social media is not real, but try and live in the moment. Try and appreciate love from where it's coming from at the state at which it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of social media, that brings us to our next category, which is about social media trends and cultural trends in general. And a big cultural change that has happened this year is Gen Z speaking up, and we had touched on that. But what we didn't expect is the generational views of other generations coming up and other generations voicing how they feel about us as Gen Zs. And some talk about the pros and cons of being a Gen Z or participating in what the Gen Zs did and hearing back from those who are older than us, so hearing how they react from us. So the pros and the cons of their perception. What do you think are some of their pros that they thought about that were positive? And what are some of their cons that you heard? And you're just like, hey, these people do not know us. We are different generations in the worst way. You know, there's a good way to transition in generations, and there's a really bad way of transitioning. So let's talk about that, the pros and cons of it.
Guys, please let's have silence in the audience because we can't even hear what Cecilia is saying. Yes.
Okay, for the pros, I'd say the Gen Z protest allowed us to open up the eyes of our elder generation, our mothers, our shoshos, our grandfathers, to not accept mediocrity. Not simple things like during the election campaign period, they come to a town, buy a couple packets of flour, and then that is justifiable that they will take care of the country. To the Gen Z, you can't give them something like that and you expect them to worship you. So that was a good advancement through the Maandamano. The cons was that we were not, although we had the main agenda to voice our fears, our concerns on this government, we also had entities within us that seek to bring violence. We couldn't control the violence that came with this Maandamano. We couldn't control the violence, we couldn't control the entities within the Maandamano that would cause harm to even the Gen Zs themselves. And some factions allowed themselves to be used by certain politicians who would like to find leverage through this Maandamano. So that was a con that I identified. Yes.
Okay, guys, let me start by saying conversational rebuttal is the key to healthy dialogue. Sawa, you cannot have a conversation where everyone is agreeing. With that being said, I feel like intergenerational dialogue has opened our eyes. Now, as a Gen Z who hangs out a lot with the older community, where I work in Elgeyo Marakwet, a high population is above 60 years old. So most of them don't even speak English. Most of them don't speak Kiswahili. They just speak in Kikale. Yeah. And one thing I have learned about these people who are more traditional is that they are rooted. They are grounded. Wako na like some sort of calmness. Enye sisi kama Gen Z na the atmosphere that we're living in, we don't have. We are plagued by anxiety, lack of grounding. Tuko na hyper ADHD, sijui ADD, sijui nini, unaona? So one thing, like when I go, I've done some government work with these old people, and there's one time we had gone for something, and tunaenda tu vitu za serikali, they take forever. You have to sit down, you have to have patience, and one thing one mzee was telling me is, tutulie tu. Bora tu tufikiwe. Me say I'm pacing, I'm going there, I'm calling, najua nani, nahitaji connections. I'm like talking to myself in my head, I'm thinking, why didn't I call somebody before I got here? What? These guys are in their late 80s. But they were just seated, no phones to scroll, just there, wametulia tu. So that sense of calm is something I aspire to. So that's a pro that these people have. Hawajakuwa, what is it called? Manipulated by technology. And that's one thing I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about the benefits of boredom. We are in a cycle of addiction to dopamine. We scroll. Somebody today said TikTok is the biggest waste of time. Who can refute that? Mara ngapi umeenda ukakaa kwa choo 1 hour? You finished cooking, but you are still there, scrolling, liking, commenting. Imagine. And then now our generation, we don't know how to get bored. And when we get bored, that's when the real, authentic, organic dopamine is generated. So it happens most of the time before we go to sleep and when we wake up in the morning. And with the older generation, it actually happens throughout the day. With our generation, no organic dopamine, just generated dopamine through social media. So that's the problem with us. Now the pro with our generation is information. We are informed, we know things, we know right from wrong, we have data, we have statistics, we have the numbers, and that is the problem with the older generation. They don't know. During time or somebody I read somewhere, arguing with your parents is like arguing with the TV. It won't listen. You know why? Because these people sat in front of the TV, all the knowledge they have is controlled media from the TV. See, we can get news from TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and even within those social media pages, we listen to different people, different news outlets. So we have a variety of information. These guys just know Citizen. Na Kenya Citizen itasema leo, ama the older ones know KBC. Now whatever KBC said, that was it. So that's what I can say. Yeah.
That's a good look into the pros and the cons. I think also one of the cons that I received is, I think along to the lines of boredom, that we don't know how to be bored, is that we are very restless and we just want kuchoma, that there is no space to sit and to talk. And I saw that initially with the whole hashtag leaderless. I saw that aspect of we don't want to sit and talk, we don't want to, but hey, after I'm telling someone, he's alive, right? Hey! And I'm missing it to sit and talk. But I understand what they're trying to say, but there's no space for that, what you're talking about proper transition in the generations or intergenerational conversations. So this brings us to nearly the end. As we wrap up, we have talked about social media, we have talked about our year, we have talked about political awareness. What are we looking forward to? Because we can't just end in retrospect. We have to look forward. So what are we looking forward to? As next year comes, Charlene is dancing. As next year comes, what are we looking forward to? What have we learned this year that either we don't want to be at all next year or want to be better in the next year? Not just as a person, but as a generation.
I think as a generation, we should be looking to incorporate some policies that govern youth affairs directly. So, through this political awakening, recently you can see must go memes where the mount, you've seen it.
Yeah, we know it.
So it is a very good way. It dates back to even the World War, whereby you see Germany, they used to use art as a political statement. That's why Hitler would collect and kill artists. It became a very valuable asset to have certain art that was drawn by certain individuals because they were politically aligned. So these non-violent, non-silent protest methods are quite informative. They help transcend different generations. Because you can see, through these pictures, for instance, you are able to speak to even the older generation. You show an old person that picture with some figures. Like there is one I have seen cut away. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah. They understand what it means. So it's a way of bringing together every person. So I think moving forward, the youth should be involved in educating the older generation. I've heard jokes that if they don't vote, the older generation plans to vote differently, the IDs will be hidden. I do not know.
Yeah, we'll hide them.
We'll hide the IDs. So young people should take charge. don't stop here. Let's take charge.
Yes, Shali.
Guys, I'm fighting muscle growth. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Let me stand up. So, clearly she does work for heels. So, what did you ask?
Oh, I asked about what you're looking forward to in the coming year, not just as an individual, but as a generation. What are we looking forward to bringing to the table?
Okay, what I'm looking forward to personally is more stability, okay? Stability in terms of, I'm looking forward to a generation whereby men have found themselves. I feel like our generation, the men are lost. We had a wave of empowering the girl child, and I feel the boy child was left out. We are in a place where women are complaining, men are no longer men. And after this femicide thing is happening because men do not know their position in the domestic femicide. Let me categorize it. Yes, gender-based violence within the home. It's happening more because most men right now do not make enough money. Women today want men that make money. So you have a man that's living through a bruised ego every single day because bibi analeta pesa nyumbani. Now the minute that happens, even if it's a man or a woman, like the man is supposed to provide so that he can call the shots within the home. So the minute the woman starts providing, the woman starts calling the shots because me don't nalipa rent, so like exactly. So now you are telling that to a man whose ego has already been bruised to the fact that he's no longer the provider in the house. So what does he do? Lash out. Because why? No emotional stability. Most of my friends, let me use my friends as a demographic, we come from broken homes. So already we did not come from a lineage of stability. Then boys brought up in that household will have no emotional maturity. They did not see a father who is mature. Because men need to see male role models. Yes, men need to see male role models to know what being a man needs to look like. So you find a man who is in that space, a woman who has been empowered, it becomes a toxic cycle. Yeah.
So stability and youth empowered goals and sorry, Shari. So I think personally I'm also looking forward to more literacy, more information. I think this year has been such a changing year for me as well. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to seeing what my place will be in this changing year. Because yes, we have taken the back burner year. We make news on social media, but what are the active steps that we can do to help change? All right, so that brings us to the end of this conversation. And we will now, yes, Cassie, you have something to say?
I wanted to add to what young people should do is also try and learn about economic empowerment through policies that, like policies, when I'm talking about policies, I think how to invest your money, how to manipulate your money, yes. So get into learning about insurance, get into learning about some small return investments. Not everyone should start buying land. Yeah. Not everyone has that money. Yeah. So young people should look into how to invest so 500 shillings, 100 shillings, 200 shillings, so that they can continue in life.
Financial literacy.
Yeah, financial literacy.
Okay. So that brings us to the end of our episode, and that allows us to have a few questions from our audience. We have only 10 minutes allocated for this question and answer session. I know it's gonna be hot. So yes, lady number one, we have seen you. Yes, tell us.
Okay, I have so many questions.
community.
No, not many. Oh, it's many. Hi.
Hi.
I have a couple of questions, and they're all directed to Shalini. Okay? Because okay, let me start with the first question. You said as our generation, we are not grounded. So why are we not grounded? Because you're not going to sit here and act as if we raised ourselves. We were not. Like, we did not raise ourselves. Is it like all generations, they got here, they were born, they found a system, they worked to that system. And us, tumekuja, tupata his system, we are working against the system. And suddenly, we are hot-headed. Or suddenly, because we are defying norms. And we have like a couple of issues rising. Tukona sijui, wengine kuna anxiety, ADHD. And these are things that are very real. Like that, we are not faking this shit, you know. Like zinafanyika. And they come from, they came from a certain place, you know. We did not just pick them and say, oh, leo niko na ADHD, kesho niko na anxiety. No. We are aware enough to know where these issues are coming from, and we are trying to address them. So if you're not grounded, whose fault is it? Who raised us? You know, it's this generation. Just because they grew up lacking information, let me tell you something. If I don't have information, if I was not exposed to must go, I wouldn't be an activist right now. You know, yes. If I was not exposed to femicide, I wouldn't be an activist. If I lived in an environment that protected me and catered for my safety, I wouldn't have to do these things. So I'm not naturally an activist because I want to be an activist. I am forced to be an activist because the environment I'm living in does not allow me to exist as a woman, does not allow me to thrive as a woman. Do you get me? We do not choose to be this way. My second question, whatever you say, genuinely, me nataka nikuulize Shalini, as a woman, as a lady, are these your actual views? No, apart from playing the devil's advocate, maybe to say, are these your actual beliefs? So why are you saying them? Why are you saying them? You should not betray yourself for the sake of being a devil's advocate. Actually, today, the latest case was an 18-year-old girl was assaulted repeatedly by boss wake. This girl came from Burundi. Amekuwa assaulted multiple fucking times. Let me just say that. Alafu akisema, what did the boss do? Akamshika with another house help, akamfungua mguu, akamwagia maji moto in her fucking kuchi. Do you get what I'm saying? So, as a woman, genuinely, from where I'm sitting right now, Shalini, I am genuinely disappointed. Let me just say it. Because there's no way you are discrediting our experiences to being the devil's advocate. Because this is you choosing the enabler side. Uliibiwa nje ya geti yako. Mimi ningekupata umeibiwa nje ya geti yako, ningekuuliza, okay, so what happened? I will not even at any point fault you. Do you get me? So for you choosing to be a devil's advocate means discrediting every other woman's experience. When you're mechomeka na mabwana zao, when you're nini, hata kama ni for the sake of conversation, man, back that conversation. Women deserve to live, regardless. Wachana na conversation, wachana na nini. What, like, bruh, this kid was 18. Did I tell you that this man was a madrasa teacher? Like a Muslim nigga. So what business did he have pouring water in an 18-year-old child's vagina? Make it make sense. Another one. Our two unasema they're very calm, they're very nini. These are people who are forced into oppression. It was either you agree with must go, whoever was preceding him, or you die. You know. But we're in a current state where you have a choice. You can speak up and no one can do anything to you. So why are we not using that? And as Gen Z and multiple people in this room, we are speaking up for our rights. Unaona Shani, acha nikwambie kitu. Ukishuka hapa chini, mtu akutandike, I will be on your fucking side. I do not give a shit. Because brings me to another point. You're saying women have been
Empowered.
Eddie, you're being an enabler. Sit down, please. You're saying women are enabled sana, women are being empowered. Why did we need that much empowerment why did we need that empowerment ndio tufikie men mpaka tuwapitie? That means kulikuwa na something was not balancing out. You know, that is why we needed that much empowerment. Sasa tumewafikia, they cannot handle their fucking egos. Sorry to the men in this room. Actually nikwambie, from history and times ago, you've had an advantage, a biological advantage over women. So now we are trying to make the odds. We are trying to level out the scope and environment. Suddenly your fragile egos cannot handle it anymore. Like, make it make sense. You know, like, we wouldn't need empowerment if you had equal work pays. Hakuna vile tunafanya sisi wote ni engineer alafu nalipwa 30% like lesser of what you're earning. Do you get where I'm coming from? Hi. Kwa nini mnatai men? You're saying they're tying their work to whatever they offer, and then if they cannot offer that, now the lashing out. Nani make your standards? Nani anasema men providers? Is it us? Sisi tulisema. Sini wao.
For the believers, sini mwanaume ni leader mimi ni wa kumsaidia. You're supposed to pass for me.
So, no. Whatever you believe in, these are standards that are set. Easy rules from the beginning. Beginning of time. So now you cannot match up to the standards you set yourself. Kidogo ego ziko bruised. Kidogo unachapa mwanamke. How many runners wamechomeka na mabwana zao? Because these ladies are creating something for themselves, and suddenly the men can't handle it. Kidogo, oh man, nyinyi mlisema story. Si.
Thank you, Achola.
Oh, kidogo provide. No, wait. Achola. Anyway, why did women need empowerment anyway? Because why? We were not involved.
Why are you looking at me?
If we were to be quite equal from the beginning of time, we wouldn't have these problems. So, Shali, no one deserves to die. You've had kids, wadogo, wasijui nani, kila siku uko usikimie, there's a case of someone being murdered, 78 to even a year old being fucking raped. Babe, we do not have to be the devil's advocate. The men, spawns of evil. Thank you.
Okay, let me answer all 10 questions.
Please.
Hey, you're taking it detailed. Let me detail. Where did we start grounding? I did not say that we have a problem like we are insane or something. I meant within our generation, number one, we are a product of our environment. So within our generation, we are a product of technology. That's number one. So social media, phones, you see already distraction.
Yeah.
These phones create distraction, and that's what I'm saying. Older generations, because they did not have tech, they built up wanaweza kaa chini ya mti for hours doing nothing.
Yeah.
Ukiambiwa ukae chini ya mti for hours doing nothing, it's a form of punishment, mental torture. So that's what I meant. Number two, what we were trying to bring to the table with the femicide topic is for good discussions to take place. Let me finish. For good discussions to take place, discussions cannot be one-sided. That's why it's called dialogue. Sawa? dialogue. Two sides of the story. So I am here representing, because if it came from a man's side, trust me, it would have been way worse.
Wait. They want men to justify themselves. We as women, no. Dialogue, let it come from the other gender, not from us. Not from us. It's even worse. Yes, it comes from a lady. No, it's even worse.
Okay.
Okay, listen. Just a minute. Just a minute. I want to point out something. I'm looking left, right, bodies everywhere, yeah?
Say it again.
Bodies everywhere. So, the challenge is, you see, we are talking about social...
The mic is off.
Okay. We are talking about standards. Men have set these standards. But you see, if a man is not able to provide, most cases, the only thing they can give you is clouds of lies.
Yes.
Which is not sustainable. You'll not be able to get a child out of that relationship or a successful relationship. So these standards are pushing men to a certain state where their emotional state is not well equipped to deal with it, and then they end up killing. I'd say that is an aspect we should consider.
Yes.
The social
Pressure.
Yes? Social pressure. Yes.
So let me say this. No one deserves to die. No
She
one
hasn't
deserves
said
to
that.
die. I have not said anyone deserves to die. But in one thing you need to know, Connie, let me address you directly now. And this lady who was here, Achola. And Karin, let me address the three. And lady,
Celine.
the singer, wonderful musician over there, Celine. For you cannot, let's say you're in a position of leadership, you cannot quiet opposition.
Yes.
Opposition is there for a reason. That is the point. That is exactly the point. So, let me finish. Yes.
You're not getting our point.
And I've gotten your point. No one deserves to die. Me, I am
No,
talking.
that's not my point.
Okay, let me start.
Okay, like we said,
I think this is a conversation that needs to happen, so you can give them the mic.
Yeah.
But in interest of time,
No problem.
I'm not quieting opposition. I feel like we would go around in circles. Why? Because, again, I feel like I understand what Charlene is saying in terms of matters concerning dialogue, especially it being a podcast.
Yes.
We cannot
That's our
just...
point here.
We cannot
just
one
be
second.
all here like,
Yes,
let me
I
say
will.
this, but next
I'll give you
topic,
it now.
what are we telling people who are the killers?
Yes, it's the same way. It's the same way when we talk about mental health. We cannot just talk about one-sidedness. Or when we talk about something as sensitive as suicide, we can't just talk about the victim alone. We can also talk about the people on the other side. Yes, it is essential for proper conversation.
And
I
when-
understand what you're
and
saying. Wait, Connie, she hasn't picked one side. That's why there's three
That's
people
why
on
there are
this
three people on the
panel,
panel.
so that other people could voice their need. And I also voice. But I also understand what people in the audience are saying, that this kind of talk enables the narrative to continue, that if you give specific situations, like what you
What
said,
about the example
yes,
strength?
the example you're trying to give about a lady who was walking down the street with a short skirt at night, when that's not the major statistic, it downplays the whole conversation. So I understand what the both of you are saying. But ultimately, we have all deviated from the importance of the conversation, because now we are nitty-gritty.
Yes.
We are making it about
Charlene.
who's right and who's wrong, or Charlene, and we are missing the entire point, which is a femicide is happening.
We
And
need to have a conversation around
yes,
And we just want to make, I just want to make a
it.
statement.
Give her the
Yes.
mic.
So I want to make a statement. I totally agree with a lot of things that you have said. I respect you, your intelligence. I love you. I love
that.
you. All
All
of
that.
you. I love you so much, and I respect you so much. That being said, I don't agree with how you said it, well, because that you're not going
Now
to.
this is dialogue.
Yes, that's my
Continue.
Okay, you said she asked you if you're genuine, if your opinion towards femicide is genuine, and you said it wasn't. You're just doing it for the sake of conversation. And I'm thinking, if you're broadcasting this thing, people are seeing what you're saying, and there are people who believe in what you say. You attract so many people with the way you speak and what your views towards things, and then you come up saying you're just doing it for the sake of conversation. I don't think that should be the case.
That's why I gave a disclaimer before I talked.
That's, yeah.
Because
A disclaimer.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters because at the end of the day, people want to hear your genuine opinion or towards something. We want to believe in you. And if you're telling us something that you don't believe in for the sake of conversation, it does not make sense at the end of the day.
I think.
So,
Again.
if it would have made sense if you look for someone who actually believed in what you were saying. Mtu angekuja aseme, yeah, maybe this is my take on this, and Achola, this is how women should behave genuinely. But usiseme ati, I don't believe in this, I'm just doing it for the sake of conversation. It really does not make sense. So,
Okay.
I don't know.
So, I think, okay. Yes.
Also, I would like to say, like Charlene, she said she gave a disclaimer and she gave examples because at the end of the day, even if we push this agenda of femicide and whatever, it's not going to work. How many people are going to, okay, not that it's not going to work, not everybody is going to resonate with it. And what Charlene was saying, I think, is as women, we should also take precautions ourselves because, as much as we preach femicide, we go to the streets and march and do all those things. These things are still going to happen. So what are we going to do as women? Still put ourselves in dangerous situations to encourage those people because they're not going to stop. So what Charlene is saying is that she does not support all of that. But as women, let us also be extra cautious about the situations we put ourselves in. Let's just use your discernment because I believe another hot take, women are more intelligent than men. By far. So we know, and we have those sixth sense. So if you feel, maybe I shouldn't, maybe don't do it. Just take care of yourself. Continue pushing the agenda, but take precaution. I think that's what's.
Plus, you say that a number of times. I've had a lot of conversations that you've used that disclaimer. You should be genuine and you just speak on what you believe in, and then we can deal with it.
Can I say something? There's one thing you guys are not getting. While we sit here, we sit as representations.
Yes.
Okay?
Not
especially for the podcast, okay? We sit as a representation. He's here representing a certain voice. I'm here representing a certain voice, and she's here representing a certain voice.
Do you believe in me?
Go ahead, first. Let me finish. So, as a representative of a point, when you mukienda debate, you only went to the side that you believe in. You do betting. You only bet on your team only. The team you love, you will always lose a bet. That's what we're trying to say. Like when you're doing math, Onyango had 5 avocados, and he ate 3. How many were left? And then you're like, first and foremost, people in whole land do what? Use critical thinking, guys.
So I think one, she's the last person. Yes, to balance the gender since the women have spoken a lot.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Keith, and this
Keith.
is something that first and foremost I don't support femicide, and I support the upcoming march that's coming up against femicide. But there's another thing that is quite important, and this I speak as a representative as men as a whole. There are memes that are passing around. They go like, "You're a little misogyny," of not talking about femicide or your little misogyny, like the small things men do. So like the thing about femicide, they are bringing it up as an attack to all men, that we are all murderers, we are all killers, and we do not support women, and women deserve to die. That's not the case. I believe everyone is responsible for their action, and choices have consequences, and don't pull it on men. Not all men are bad.
Thank you.
It's a select few.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So that was an intense last part of the conversation. I really hope that the conversation didn't go over everyone's head and all people remember is about the femicide, or Charlene said, Charlene said women should be killed, so therefore we do not care about the conversation about the economy or things of that nature. So we'll end there. Thank you so much for being our wonderful audience today. We have enjoyed your presence. All of you look, the guys look very dapper and the ladies look very beautiful. We continue to thank you guys for your continued support for Portail Podcast. Follow pages, all of them on Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Portail Podcast and on Instagram at Portail TV. And we would really like to hear back from you concerning what more you'd like to hear from us, especially concerning the kind of year we've had or future content. That would be a really nice way to hear from you. And also about this episode, because clearly more episodes can be born just out of this conversation. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving of your time and of your energy. And now I would like to invite a very important person to usher in a new section of this evening. So, Mr. Producer himself, Mr. Founder-in-Chief of Portail Podcast. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. So, it has been a very, very unique anniversary as Portail Podcast, because we had a live recording, dinner, a very wonderful place. Tulikuja huku saa 2 asubuhi. I'm so tired, but I'm happy. The conversation has been fire. For me, as a producer, I'm a head of the podcast. The conversation is good for my viewers, because I'll get so many people pale for comments, so many people will share, because maybe what I say
Charlene, of course.
Because I like Charlene because she has that mind, because I gave her that position as a host of the podcast, because she has that mind of challenge. When I'm a challenge, I like that. So I know she doesn't believe in that, but she was there to
bring it up.
It makes you walk, you see. Yeah. So I'm so happy. I think I'll accumulate everything on my speech. This podcast started because of friendship, and I lost a friend in 2019. She died out of suicide. At that time, I didn't know how to talk to her and really take her out of that form of suicide. I just told her, relationships are fake, but at the time I had Aljirusha River Sociani, it wasn't funny enough, you see. So that's why I started the podcast. I started in my room doing Spotify episodes, you see, which really elevate until now. We are in 4 years. The first anniversary I did alone. Second anniversary we did at, I think, Astoria. We were around, we were at 500, so we were winning class. Second anniversary, the third anniversary tulifanya Goshena, we were around 70. Now this one tumekuwa 50. We have done a rough estimation. We were 50 people this dinner, which is an improvement, because we also raised the 2500, and we were tunapanga with my team, tunasema tutatoka wapi, because 2500 right now in this economy, it's luxury. I remember Sandra telling me that people who will pay, people who think that this is luxury, maybe to get reduced price chini. But I told her no, like we need to grow here, the audience, wajue like this group is growing, na itatuelevate as a podcast here, because look at what we did. It's something hata mimi sikubelieve tungefika mwisho tuseme like the anniversary is over, we did a good one, it was a success. You see, friends traveling just to come and support you. I mean, like, how should I even thank you? Like, so the nasema maybe niklipie fare urudi, maybe like, but sasa finances. You see, ama like I pay just a trip for you to go Zanzibar. You see, but sasa. You see, also I want to thank Elipix. I mean, say a big chunk.
Ooh, Eli.
I also want to thank Achola, Kachumbari, with Melody, like, kukam iyo agreement ya, hey, come perform in my dinner, hey, come take pictures, hey, come, ingekuwa like, tungekuwa tuna work in that professional line, singe afford Melody. Singe afford Elipix, singe afford Celine, singe afford Kachumbari, singe afford Achola. You see, so selling that vision to people and them understanding it, it's very special to me because they see the vision. And for me, kitu inanifanya as the lead, ama the host of the podcast, is to work hard and produce episodes, because for us, mimi ushush na simu yangu, I have a 12 Pro Max iPhone.
Mski ngo ila 12 Pro Max iPhone.
So I shoot with my phone. Si ushoot episodes zetu, si ushoot na phone. Na tuko na mic. You see? So we have a group where tulichanga pesa, tukanunua mic. That's a lot. I have 17 team members, whereby tukichanga, tunachanga. Kama dina pesa ito imetosha, tukichanga tu kidogo tushafika 5,000 nini, which inaniambia that these people have seen the vision. Now it's for me, sasa nisikuwa napatikana into this kind of makosa, just for them, so that we arrive to our goal. And what is our goal? For us to become a media house. Portal TV to become a media house, whereby we can shoot episodes, we can have a studio whereby musicians come and record their songs, we have our own band, like tukisema tunakuja dinner, kila kitu in-house, we're supporting our own brand. And how can we do that? By having Fechela, by having moral tours, by having meet and create, shoot by Sido. Like, that's how we can create that Olympics, that in-house brand, whereby I can come in for you, also I can come in for you. You see, so that's my goal, and that's what I usually pitch to someone who I want to like partner with. I don't force, because I have been disappointed even arranging this dinner. Nimepigia DJ ashiki simu. So tumebidi tukue ma DJ si wenyewe. Sponsors. I think the last 2 months nimezunguka town, office, in, out, looking for sponsors. But we get that no, not in a bad way. I still feel the bad because we are growing, and receiving these no's, just accept them, go work, to work this dinner out without sponsors. The next time they see something Portal did, they will say, I want to be part of it. You see, even like Empire, I think tukitoka hapa watasema those guys are
You are normal.
So I think hizo certificates, where are the certificates? Nilikuwa nimeziweka pale for the team. I think watu wameenda, so I'll just give them after the meeting. So we'll cut the cake because of time. And I just want to say this dinner was a success because of supportiveness of friendships, supportiveness of believing you can achieve something. And for me as Eddie, because the podcast has given me two personalities, Ed the host and Ed like me. Ed me like staying at home, doing like kazi, nini, without even seeing anyone. But Ed the podcast needs to be out there, needs to be looking for friends who can support the podcast, who can make this happen. So I want to say thank you so much. I think it's because of time, but nilipita around the tables, made sure everyone enjoyed the meal, made sure, I think Sydney, to enjoy meal? Yeah, Sydney's our matron, so so I think to enjoy our meal, and we're going to cut the cake, please bring the cake. We call it a night, because to enjoy. Now we can rest until January and we'll resume recording our episodes. Before I finish, we've been invited to do a live recording in Nairobi.
Yay!
And I will be going with Cecilia and Charlene.
That's me.
I am not Cecilia.
So, what I can add you guys, please continue praying for us because we will deliver. Because for me, I know the story. I'm doing this for my friend, my past friend, and you pass. I'm doing this for her. And I didn't know Itafika places I enjoyed anniversaries. You see. So pray hard, believe in your stories. If you need support, the podcast is always open. Your business, we can advertise for you. Growth. Musically, we can help you. Some melody. Yeah, so we can partner in different ways. Hatuwezi kosa kitu ya kufanya. We have supported people. These people have big brains because wako hapa kina Charlene. Kuna many people lakini hawajafika. So I'm also looking for a male host because I want to retire now from hosting. I've recorded like 100 episodes per YouTube. I want now to be the director pale nyuma, and I should be coming here when needed. Nianze kuwalipa.
You're not cheap.
Ndio wanaanza kufungua podcast yao niache. Haya, sawa. Thank you so much, and let's enjoy the cake as we go.
I still disagree. My God, come on.
There's no one. So, look, it was a 50 minutes. That was 40K. No, that's what I gave her. A politician does not give disclaimer, they just lie. Me, I gave a disclaimer. Like, if your disclaimer went over everyone's head. Yes, who was here? Like, it was such a simple thing. What was it? emotion of so fast. Anasema alikuwa ameshtuka. Happy birthday, dear Bote. Happy birthday, dear Bote. Happy birthday, dear Bote. Dear Bote, happy birthday, dear Bote. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bote. Happy birthday, dear Bote. Dio keki Achola.